Hello there guys, welcome to another My Life video. So Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has come out and taken a slight dig at Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp, saying it won't take Manchester United another 30 years to win a Premier League title. So this is what Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has mentioned. Obviously it's going to be interesting today to see how Ole Gunnar Solsjaker does approach this game. It's probably very probable that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will go with a 4-2-3-1 formation. So I do believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will park the bus. Obviously we are a massive underdogs going into this game today. And like I mentioned on my video yesterday, in that I don't think we've got any chances of salvaging anything from Liverpool, because I just think this Liverpool team are too strong. Obviously Liverpool have enjoyed a fantastic start to this season. Obviously, they've won 8 out of 8. They're sitting 5 points in front of Manchester City now, because obviously City won by 2 goals to nil yesterday. They are, of course, sitting 15 points in front of Manchester United. And, of course, Liverpool are looking to equal Manchester City's Premier League record of 18 wins on the bounce. So, yeah, Liverpool, of course, are, the red hot favourites, to win today. But, like I mentioned, Liverpool are strides ahead of us. Obviously, at the moment, you can say they're around 3 to 4 years ahead of us at least. But, despite that, Manchester United and Liverpool, is still the biggest game in English football. Obviously, they are the two most successful clubs in England, historically. Obviously, I think overall Liverpool have won 43 trophies. And, of course, Man United have won 42 trophies. Yeah, so I think the only way we can salvage something from Liverpool today, is if we do play out of our skins. But yeah, we haven't, won the Premier League, ourselves, since 2013, which is obviously, nearly 7 years ago now. The last time we won it, obviously, it came in Alex Ferguson's last season. You can actually say in that particular season, Robin van Persie had won us the league, reflecting on the amount of goals and that he had scored. But I do agree with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in that aspect. I don't think it will take the club, 30 years to win another Premier League title. But I've got to be honest, I think Liverpool probably will do it this season. Liverpool, of course, have come close on quite a few occasions to winning the league. Liverpool were really unlucky not to win it last season. Obviously, they got they just lost it last season by 1 point to Man City. Liverpool did register 97 points last season, by the way. Obviously, they came close back under the Brendan Rodgers era. They had a good 2013-14 season under his guidance, but still didn't win it. So yeah, like I mentioned, they have come close on quite a few occasions. But Liverpool are regarded as the best team in Europe at this present time. Obviously, winning the Champions League last season against Tottenham. Overall, they have won 6 Champions Leagues. But Liverpool, I hate to credit them because I hate them a lot, but I've got to be honest, they do back their manager. I think Jurgen Klopp's philosophy's right for Liverpool. Take into account though, Jurgen Klopp has not yet won at Old Trafford. He's not obviously yet beaten Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, don't forget Jurgen Klopp's record after his first 29 games at Liverpool were as bad, or I think was worse than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So I'll also take that into account. But Jurgen Klopp, did struggle at the first he did. He has been at Liverpool now a number of years, but he has obviously settled in really well. And some people believe if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is given the time at Manchester United that he's demanding, maybe he could emulate into Jurgen Klopp, because Jurgen Klopp hasn't won that much. He's only won 2 major honours with Liverpool. Obviously before he was at Liverpool he won a couple of titles with Borussia Dortmund. Yeah. But Liverpool, like I mentioned, their record at Old Trafford, is really poor. They've only won twice at Old Trafford in the last decade. The last time they did win at Old Trafford, obviously, was back in 2014 under the David Moyes era. They did win by 3 goals to nil, and that's obviously now nearly 6 years ago. Obviously, the game last season was 0-0 between the two teams. I don't think this, this will be, this game will replicate, the game from from last season. So I think this game will be totally comparison to last season, because last season obviously it was 0-0. Obviously I think like 3 of our players went off with injury in the first half. Obviously I think one of Liverpool's players went off with injury, and obviously that Rashford was also limping on the pitch, but I think he actually seed out the full 90 minutes. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game. If we do lose today, well, we are expected to lose. It's not assured that Ole Gunnar Solsjaker will be sacked as Manchester United manager. Obviously, there was a lot of reports coming out the other week saying that if we are to suffer a heavy defeat to Liverpool, obviously that could put Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job in serious jeopardy at the football club. But yeah, if Liverpool do win today, that could end Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure at Manchester United, because like I mentioned, we are enjoying our worst start to a Premier League season for 3 decades. Obviously now it stands, we're only sitting 1 point above relegation, so you can quite frankly say that we are facing a relegation battle at this present time. I don't, some Man United fans fear, if we do keep Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the rest of this season, that he could end up getting us relegated. I don't think that will happen, because like I mentioned, Man United are too big. There's too much money in that into the football club to get relegated, and there is too many good players. With 8 games into the season, this is our 9th game today, and so far we've only won 2 games, we've drawn 3 and we've lost 3. So in that aspect, we've only registered 9 points from 8 league games, and we know that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. But yeah, I would be very surprised, if Manchester United did win today, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I want to give you some team news as well, building up to the game and that. The good news is that David De Gea, Anthony Martial and Wan-Bissaka are all part of the squad, for the Liverpool game. So actually, they could be all in contention to play. With Anthony Martial, like I mentioned, he's missed the last 5 games for Manchester United with injury. The last 5 league games, I think the last 6 or 7 in all competitions. We do know the difference he does make in that attacking third of the pitch. Anthony Martial. Obviously now he's into his 5th season as a Man United player. He's produced 50 goals for the football club. But he enjoyed a fantastic start to the season, obviously before he sustained that thigh injury. But yeah, he hasn't played since the 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace as Anthony Martial. So very happy, that he's going to be involved. Well, should be involved anywhere. Like it got confirmed at the start of the season, he has been given that number 9 shirt. So Martial is playing more centrally, and he seems to be more effective in that central position. We've got Greenwood and Rashford and that can play centrally and out wide. But for me, Martial is more the standout player. So it will be good to see him in contention today. He obviously has been here since the Louis van Gaal era. Solskjaer has recently come out and given his perception on Anthony Martial. He believes that the club actually should have sold him instead of Romelu Lukaku. But like I mentioned anyway, we do look exposing that attacking line. We need to recommend the striker in January. We need to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. We need someone to come in that can be more effective in the box, someone that can assure us goals and stuff like that. So definitely, we do need a striker. Because I said we look exposed in that attacking line following the dismissal of Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez. But it'd be good to see Martial back. With De Gea, like I mentioned to you, it was yesterday, I think I mentioned it to you, or it was the day before yesterday. Solskjaer has come out and he says that, David De Gea's injury is not as severe as we all first feared, which is obviously very good news, because obviously at the first, the extent of the injury was unknown. Obviously David De Gea has got a leg injury that he had sustained, whilst he was on international duty with Spain, on Tuesday evening. He sustained this injury in that, so he came off with injury in the second half. Even though the injury is not as severe as we first feared, Solskjaer did confirm he expects David De Gea to still miss the game. So David De Gea could still be missing his first Manchester United game in the Premier League for almost 7 years. So if David De Gea obviously can't be involved, then obviously it will be Sergio Romero, because obviously Sergio Romero is our second choice goalkeeper. But yeah, so David De Gea is still part of the squad, which is good. But he actually told his friends recently that he could still play against Liverpool. Like I mentioned, David De Gea is imperative. He has been at the football club now a number of years. He's now into his 8th season at Manchester United. Well, no, he's been into his 9th season at Man United, but he has been at the football club 8 years. And like I mentioned, overall, he's regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world. I think David De Gea has had seven and a half good years, at the club. To be quite honest, I think he's been below par in the last 10, 11 months. But I think prior to that, he has mainly, done really, really well. And obviously, he's the highest paid goalkeeper at the football club. Well, highest paid goalkeeper in the world, should I say. He's on 375 grand a week, and De Gea's not far away now from making 400 appearances for the club in all competitions. And with Wan-Bissaka, he's missed the last 2 league games with illness. Obviously, he's had tonsillitis as Wan-Bissaka, and a lot of people believe, look, he's been one of our most consistent signings as Wan-Bissaka, and I will agree on that aspect. I think he has been one of our most consistent signings. Obviously, he's a very, very good player, and it will be good to see him, also, back in contention. But, Luke Shaw's still out with injury. He won't be playing today. He's been out with a hamstring problem. He's been out for the same length of time as Anthony Martial has, because Luke Shaw hasn't played since the 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace. Luke Shaw, like I mentioned, he's a very imperative player. Obviously he is our first choice left back is Luke Shaw. I think a lot of people talk about him being injury prone, and I will agree on that aspect. Luke Shaw is very, very injury prone. Not to the same extent as Eric Bailly, because I think Eric Bailly is a lot more injury prone than him. But I think prior to Luke Shaw's injuries and his bad spell under Mourinho, I think he's had a pretty decent career with the club. He's now into his 5th season at United. He won the double player of the season last season, reflecting on his impressive performances. So yeah, won't be playing today. Obviously, we know that Eric Bailly won't be involved. Paul Pogba won't be involved. That's definitely not being assured. Paul Pogba's missed quite a lot of games this season due to his ongoing foot injury. That has obviously been surrounding the player now for a matter of weeks. Fitness staff recently revealed that Pogba could be out until the end of this month or the beginning of November with his foot injury. But yeah, he's another imperative player, and we do know the difference. Paul Pogba does make in that midfield, and we know the difference when you take Paul Pogba out of the equation without a shadow of a doubt. But anyway, with the injuries we've got, Ole Gunnar Solsjaker is going to have to make alterations in the squad. But it's a shame, that Paul Pogba, is not going to be available. Jesse Lingard, I don't think he's going to be available. Obviously, he's been out with a hamstring problem as Jesse Lingard, and I think, he's one of the players that need to step up to the plate, because he's been very, very poor this season. He's enjoyed a difficult time, and like I mentioned, reflecting on Jesse Lingard's status at the football club, he should be putting much more better performances out, than he has been doing, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Diego Dalot, he sustained, quite a few injuries this season. It wasn't too long ago that Diego Dalot had a groin problem. Diego Dalot's only been at the club since last summer, so I'll take into account that I think he needs more time at the football club. He's still obviously only very, very young, but he is one of our backup options at that fullback position. Fosu Mensah is obviously still out injured. He's been out for quite some time with injury as Fosu Mensah. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does line up today. It will be interesting to see. Will be interesting to see in that. And Liverpool, they've had a couple of injuries. Obviously, they've had Salah out, with an ankle problem. I think he probably will be playing now. Obviously, they've had Allington out, but I think it's confirmed he'll be playing. Joe Matip, returned to training earlier on in the week. Shaqiri's been out with a calf problem. Obviously, they've got Nathaniel Klein out until early January. But yeah, they've had quite a few injuries, like I mentioned. But like I mentioned, Liverpool done really, really good investment. They addressed their deficiencies in the squad. They didn't sign anyone, during the course of the summer. But, in the previous windows before the summer, they did, do good investment and that, they paid 75 million for Van Dijk. He's the best centre-half in the world. Obviously, they did get Allington in. He's probably, at this present time, the best goalkeeper in the world, but not overall. Liverpool have got two fantastic fullbacks in Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andrew Robinson. They've got a great attacking trio in Salah, Firmino and Mane, who do complement each other fantastically well. Salah hasn't performed to the standards as Liverpool expected this season, but I think, when he's in bad form, Liverpool do consider playing him centrally, instead of putting him out on the wing. But yeah, Liverpool have been, very, very sensible with their recruitment. They haven't overpaid for players, like Manchester United have done in the last 6 or 7 years. And like I mentioned, always spending big on players and getting them Glasgow players does not always, guarantee you success, to be quite honest with you. Like I was reading a recent reports yesterday, as I did give you an update on it, did say Ole Gunnar Solsjaker is considering resigning as Manchester United manager if this bad run of form does continue to persist, which obviously means that would obviously prevent him from getting the sack if he obviously was to resign from the football club. But yeah, and like I mentioned, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to last at Manchester United. Our current board, won't keep him at the football club. But I did initially say anyway, due to our inconsistency. I think, everyone's to blame. Solskjaer needs to take some responsibility because his tactics and that are questionable. And I will admit, we are tactically inept. I also think, that some of the blame does stem from a lot of the players, because obviously, they haven't been playing to their standards as, we expected, and, a lot of them do need a reality check. Some of the blame also stems from Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward's definitely, accountable for some of it as well, and I think, the vast majority of the blame, does stem from the board, because the board, in my opinion, didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough during the course of the summer. They do need to assure structural changes at the football club. The board have been a liability for several years, with their poor recruitment and their poor selection of managers, because taking into account our recruitment's been very, very poor for several years. So I think in the next 3 to 4, 3 to 4 windows, the next 3 to 4 windows, that is, our recruitment, needs to be much, much better, because analysing our recruitment policy isn't too good, to be quite honest with you. And I just think the depth in our squad, is quite clearly, not good enough. And that's my opinion on it. But, the vast majority of Manchester United fans are obviously demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of the football club. Obviously, you're still getting certain Manchester United fans, that are backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's still, some people saying, we should still give him a bit more time and that. We should give him at least a couple more windows, to see who else, he can recommend in to the football club. Because like I said, analysing the majority of this Man United team, obviously, isn't, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The majority of this Manchester United team is actually, Jose Mourinho's. Jose Mourinho did recommend 11 players into the football club, and now obviously Solskjaer is inheriting the vast majority of them. So obviously, do take that into account. But yeah, so some are still saying, we should give him a bit more time. You had obviously Rio Ferdinand coming out the other week, saying that, Man United would be naive to sack him. Obviously, you got Ryan Giggs coming out the other week saying that, we need to give him more time. In my perception on it all, I think, we need at least 5 to 6 world-class signings if we are to be back to being a competitive elite-level football club. Because like I mentioned, with the size and the potential of this club, we should be much more commanding a position, than winning now, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. And I said, at the start of this season, and I think I mentioned it at the end of last season, that I didn't expect us this season to mount any kind of title challenge up or win the league, but I didn't expect us, to be in this current position, than winning now. I did say, Solskjaer is aware of the expectations he has to exceed at the football club, and I said at the start of this season that our expectations this season, will be, to win, we'll be able to finish in the top 4, perhaps maybe win some silverware and that. And I said we need to get back into that top four. So in that aspect, we can get back into the Champions League, because I did say one of the main factor reasons why we didn't get all the players that we wanted during the summer, is because, we failed to qualify for the Champions League. And obviously when you're not in the Champions League, it's going to be harder to attract players to the elite level without a shadow of a doubt and that. But I think anyway, our aspirations, will be that top four in the next couple of seasons, because analysing our squad at the moment, it isn't good enough, to win the league. Despite the fact that a lot of players have left since Solskjaer's arrival, quite a lot have left, I still believe there is more problematic players at the football club that do need to be moved on there without a shadow of a doubt. But for me, the areas now Man United need to strengthen up is, we need a striker, like I mentioned earlier on the video. We need a creative midfielder, because I think we're missing creative impetus in that midfield. Some people believe we need 2 central midfielders. Some people believe we do need a left back. So there's still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. And I was happy during the summer, that we did address, some of the problematic areas, and that, I was, very, very happy about that. We got the experienced centre-half in we wanted. We got that right back in, but we didn't address all the problematic areas. But it was only Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first summer as Man United manager anyway, so obviously it was going to be hard to address all the problematic areas in one some transfer window. But like I mentioned, the element of concerns, I have got about Solskjaer is that obviously, he hasn't got any intuition on how to manage a big football club like Manchester United. He hasn't got it. His pedigree, is not good enough in my opinion. Obviously, before he came to Manchester United, he did win a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould. Obviously, before he was at Mould, he had a really, really short tenure with Cardiff. I think he only lasted around 30 games with Cardiff, did Solskjaer. He actually, ended up, getting Cardiff relegated. Don't take that into account. But yeah, he just hasn't, he hasn't really got, that managerial experience. And I do credit him in certain aspects of me do credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. I think he's got a lot of trust with him and his young upcoming players. Also, he did recommend 3 good players to the squad during the summer. We spent nearly £150 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire. And I think they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Manchester United careers. So it's good that he did bring 3 good players to the squad. And Solskjaer is if he's still to be here by January, which I don't think he will be from my perception, but he is making plans for the January transfer window. I think he's keen on continuing the policy of recruiting young British players, if he is to still be at Manchester United in January. And like I said, I think we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. We'll look to probably sign 1 or 2 players in January. Then we'll do a lot more investment in the next summer transfer window. That's my opinion on that. But, Solskjaer has come out himself. He's actually come out himself. And, recently, he says he feels as though the job for him at Manchester United is not too big. He thinks he's the right manager for Manchester United. This is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's perception. And obviously, Ed Woodward is compatible in that aspect, because also Ed Woodward, still believes he's the right man. He insisted, he's backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now 100%. I think he actually told the coaching staff this. And you've got, obviously, a lot of Man United fans also demanding Ed Woodward out of the football club, they're demanding him out of the football club as well as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Some Man United fans are saying we should get rid of our current board and, recommend a new board in. But I think, the board did actually assure at the start of this season that, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be at Manchester United at least until May, because I think the board realised that they didn't back him enough, during the course of the summer. Recently, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer also came out and defended the club's current structure, because what he means is, in that aspect, he thinks that Man United don't need a director of football, because don't forget, for all the summer, we was in search for a director of football. Well, the majority of the summer we was in search for a director of football. Like I mentioned, there was quite a few former Manchester United players linked with the director's role and that. And I did say, it would be beneficial to recommend someone who knows the traditions of the club, someone who, of course, was got that experience in that, and someone who would be reliable to obviously our transfer business. And we know there was a lot of speculation about Van der Sar the other week. Obviously, Van der Sar, is a former Manchester United goalkeeper. He served 6 years at the football club. And obviously he's got the experience as well. He's now currently chief executive at Ajax. He's been there now around 3 years. He's now into his 4th season there with Ajax. So I said he would be the right candidate for Manchester United. But he's happy with the club's current structure. He's Mulligan and Solsjaker, like he's recently said. Like he has recently said. But, like I said, a lot of players, do need reality check and that. I think, Rashford's got to, start playing because, Rashford, hasn't, performed, to the standards as we all expected. And I think Rashford's enjoyed a really difficult time this season with Man United. It was same as in the last couple of months of last season, he was very, very poor. A lot of people do believe Rashford is overrated, but he's enjoyed a difficult time, this season in comparison to his time. When he first broke into the scene, he scored. Rashford's made a total of 180 appearances for Man United in all competitions. I think he has scored around 48 goals. If he does play today, which I think will be very probable, he will play today, Rashford. It will be his 120th appearance in the Premier League, for the football club. And so far this season, Rashford has obviously spent the entirety of his career with Man United. He's been in United player since the age of 7. He's been in the senior squad with us, since 2016. He really needs to step up to the plate, does Rashford. And I know he was injured, not too long ago. But a lot of players need to step up to the plate. Like I mentioned, Fred, a lot of people have got element of concerns about Fred, and Fred's been, he's had the odd good game here and there, but I think prior to that, he hasn't really been, as good as we all, expected. Fred obviously was a really, really good player at Shakhtar Donetsk. He hasn't really replicated this at Manchester United. I think he needs to be given more time at the club. I know that the football club did overpay for Fred. We paid just under £50 million for him last summer. Or was it £50 million? We did currently pay for him, but, give him a bit more time, in my opinion. But like I mentioned, there's still a lot of experienced players in the squad. We've got a lot of young players in the squad, are developing and trying to improve with the football club. And I mentioned that not all the young players are obviously, going to become a success at Manchester United. I think some of them will. I don't think all of them will. So I think, it would be beneficial to maybe loan some of the young upcoming players out because maybe they're not good enough to represent Man United, or maybe it would be good for them to gain more experience. I was reading reports the other week, and it did actually say that we are considering loaning Chong, Angel Gomez and, Jimmy Garner out in January. They're the 3 young players, we're looking at to loan out. But, I can assure definitely that Mason Greenwood and Alex Tuanzebe, I think them two, will become a success at the football club. Mason Greenwood, obviously, has not yet played in the Premier League from the start. He has made 6 substitute appearances in the Premier League, but he needs to get given, a game from the start in the Premier League, does Greenwood. And Greenwood is only 18. He turned 18 years of age at the beginning of this month, and I think by the time he's 23, 24, I think Mason Greenwood can become a huge, I think he can be a world-class centre-forward for Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. And it's hard to leave him out of the team when he keeps if he keeps the consistency up and he keeps, scoring his goals. It's definitely, harder to leave him out of the team. And I think also Tuanzebe will also, like I mentioned, become a success in that. To be fair, I think, McTominay's done really, really well. He's not a world-class midfielder, we won't take that into account because he isn't. But he's done really, really well this season. He's had a point to prove. And I think, to be fair, he has put Paul Pogba to shame and that. He's put Matip to shame. Obviously, now McTominay is our preference over Matip because Matip has initially lost his place in the team to Scott McTominay. Obviously, McTominay is only 22 and he's still got a lot of development in him, In regards to McTominay being a long-term solution for Man United, I have got element of concerns about that. These question marks around him, can he keep the consistency up? And, I hope he can, to be quite honest with you. Probably will be line in contention to play today, especially due to the absence of Paul Pogba. So probably my prediction will be today McTominay alongside Matip in the midfield, or McTominay alongside Fred in the midfield, like it was in the 1-0 defeat to Newcastle. That's probably what I think that the midfield will be. Andres Pereira, give him more time. He returned to the football club earlier on in the summer because he had loan spells in Spain with Granada and Valencia. I think he's only had one good game this season, of what I can recall, and that was the 1-1 draw with Arsenal. He's played quite a few times on the right this season. As Andres Pereira, but I'd give him more time at the football club. Brandon Williams, he obviously played against Alkmaar. He played at left back. He just recently signed a new contract for the football club. So too as Mason Greenwood. I forgot to mention that he's also signed a new contract. I think Greenwood signed a new contract yesterday with the football club and that. And I'm happy in the aspect that we have sorted quite a lot of the contract renewals out. I'm unhappy, with some of the contracts, we've given to some players. We shouldn't have given Phil Jones a new long-term contract last season. We shouldn't have given Young a new 1-year extension last season. And like I mentioned, we haven't, only spent big on players in the last, 6 or 7 years. We've also, got players now on big contracts. You've got Rashford on 300 grand a week. You've got, Martial on 200 grand a week. You've got Lingard on just over 100 grand a week. You've got Pogba on 290 grand a week. You've got David De Gea on 375 grand a week. You've got Harry Maguire on 200 grand a week. So we have got players on big contracts at the football club. But talking about Solskjaer, he's not going to last at Manchester United. And obviously, if he is to be sacked by the football club, Solskjaer, obviously, he will be our fourth manager to be sacked since the Alex Ferguson era, because already we've sacked 3 managers. We sacked David Moyes after, 10 months. He had a really, really short tenure with the football club. We sacked Louis van Gaal after I think he served just over a year. And obviously, we sacked Jose Mourinho, and Jose Mourinho had a 2.5 year tenure at the football club. But definitely Solskjaer is next to be out. The football club, and as she said anyway, we haven't got the structure, to keep sacking managers and that. And in a way, I do feel sorry for Solskjaer because, like I mentioned, I think, the club have put him in a really, really difficult position. I think the mistake Man United did make, obviously, was giving him the job. We should have, obviously, never given him the job. And, but Solskjaer, overall, has been at Manchester United now for around 10 months. So he's actually been at the football club just under a year. He's been permanent manager for 7 months or something. So he's enjoyed a difficult 7-month tenure with Manchester United. Because obviously since he's got the job permanently, everything has just seemed to have all gone wrong. But reflecting back when he was the interim manager, he did really, really well. The results were good, the performances were good, he got the best out of his group of players, he exceeded expectations, and he won 14 games out of 19 in total in that 3-month period. But it's all gone wrong since he got the job permanently. Obviously, it's been revealed that we have the 4th worst record in the Premier League since Solskjaer got the job permanently. It's only Brighton, Southampton and Watford, I think, that have worse records than Manchester United. That's been revealed. Because I think we've only registered 17 points from our last 17 games, if I'm right. I think that's right. Anyway, we've only won 5 of our last 19 league games. We've only won 5 of our last 23 in all competitions since we did get the job permanently. But like I mentioned, I think the only reason we're sticking with Solskjaer at this present time is because obviously he was a club legend and in that aspect, the board are soft in their stance on him. Solskjaer was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance. He did flourish under Alex Ferguson's guidance and that, and he did really, really well. So he has, got that proven pedigree as a player, but he just isn't good enough, to be a manager. You just basically, got to take that into account. You've got to, take that into account. But yeah, like I mentioned, there has been a list of managers on our agenda, who could replace Solsjaker at the football club. Like I mentioned, the primary candidate is Max Allegri. There has been a hell of a lot of talks going on about Max Allegri for a number of weeks now. I think he's indicated out as Max Allegri that he's interested in taking the Manchester United job. Reports not too long ago said that he was in discussions with the football club about, his salary, what he would earn a year if he became, Manchester United's new boss. And he did say an estimate. I think an estimated guess, it did say around, was it 6.5 million or something a year he would earn, or maybe even more than that. Max Allegri has actually demanded a few things. As well, if he is to come to Man United. He says he wants to recommend Patrice Evering as his backroom staff. One of his backroom staff. He did mention this the other week, and he also wants to recommend Mario Mandzukic and Emre Can to the football club. This is something else. He did Shaw, who were obviously two Juventus players. But yeah, I think he's interested in coming in. So do you think he would be the right candidate for Man United, Max Allegri? He hasn't been managerless for long. He stepped down as Juventus manager at the end of last season. Recent reports have indicated out that he's been learning English in preparation for his potential move. And he's been managing for around 16 years, is it? Because he began his managerial career in 2003. I think Max Allegri is in his 50s, if I'm right. But yeah, I think he's interested in coming to Manchester United. This is what it basically said. There's been other managers on our agenda as well as him, but Max Allegri is a likely one. So if he was to come in, he would be our 5th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. But like I mentioned, regardless of who our manager is, and Solskjaer, regardless of who our manager is, no manager can invoke Ferguson's legacy at Man United. Solskjaer definitely can't invoke Ferguson's legacy, to save him at Manchester United and that. Because, we were fantastic back under the Alex Ferguson era. He developed a lot of young players, did Ferguson. He developed a lot of young players. He controlled the transfer policies, he controlled the contracts and that. And, he had 20 odd years of success at the football club. Because under Ferguson, the fear factor was there, the right mentality was there. And all that. And, we had a great team in that. And I said I'm hopeful that this team at this day and age can replicate what the team did under Ferguson. But like I mentioned now, we're not in the Ferguson era anymore. We haven't been in the Ferguson era for nearly 7 years now. These are different players and different groups, of course, that we are building. Like Solskjaer, said not too long ago. But Solskjaer is aware of what's going on at the football club, and he has got a lot of honesty about him. I don't think he's stubborn in that, which is another good thing I do credit him for. But I just don't think he's good enough for Manchester United, and that's my personal opinion on that. But we've just got to see, who we can try and get in January. I think another mistake from the football club was definitely letting Ander Herrera go, because you could arguably say Ander Herrera was one of our best players since the Alex Ferguson era. I thought Herrera had 3.5, 4 good years out of the 5 he was at Man United, and it infuriated me more that we let Ander Herrera, go on a free transfer. That, really, really infuriated me. So we had quite a lot of mistakes. I think also another mistake I can pinpoint out was, not recommending Jose Mourinho in after, the Alex Ferguson era. Ferguson should have recommended Jose Mourinho in at that time instead of David Moyes. And if you could arguably say if we had done that, it would have been a different sort of scenario now with Manchester United and that. So you can also, take that into account. So I am, really, really looking forward to the game today. Like I give you my score predictions, didn't I, the other week? I think it's going to be 3-1 to Liverpool. Liverpool are going to win this comfortably from my perception. And, So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.